Bioshock is a modern classic released in 2007. It's a first-person shooter where the player blasts their way through the fallen utopia of Rapture. But how many people need to be killed to complete the game? First, the rules. A kill is defined as getting the final hit on an enemy through weapons or plasmids. It also includes mind-controlling opponents and using those, so hypnotize security, enrage, or hypnotize Big Daddies or ride out. Finally, any hacked device counts as our kill, so hacking turrets to help us is a no-go. And then, we're not going to be using any glitches. What is not a kill then? Almost every enemy in the game has friendly fire, so if a turret shoots at us, or something that looks like us, then that doesn't count. As a final note for this run, we'll want to be playing on easy. Without further ado, we're introduced to Rapture, and arguably the greatest opening in a video game. Unfortunately, right out of the gate, we're forced to kill a splicer in order to open the upstairs area to help rewrite our genetic code. In the next area, we have another door that won't open until we kill the ambushing splicer. And that's it. We can run past every other enemy until we get to the medical pavilion with little difficulties. In the pavilion, we have to hack a poor turret stuck in a door, then immediately deactivate it so it doesn't kill any innocent splicers. In the next area, we can run past some turrets and splicers and collect fire, then use that to collect telekinesis. After getting that, we can head to the surgical foyer and blow up the debris. After waiting a little bit, the door opens, and we can head past the turret to Aesthetic Ideals and Steinman. In this run I killed him, but it's not necessarily the only way. It's not easy, but it could be possible to hug him and get following drones and splicers to slowly kill him. Using this method would be crucial to blow up the nearby first aid station. Comment below if you've tried this, or want me to do another attempt. With Steinman dead, we get the key, and we can head back to emergency access. In the meantime, we run into a little sister and rescue her, as it's the only option. This will be the only item we have for a very long time. We buy Armored Shell at the nearby Gatherer's Gardens, but save the rest. Then we arrive at the Bathysphere and Neptune's Bounty. Here we get the most important plasmid for the run, and what allows for it to work. Target Dummy. This creates a duplicate of our character, causing all nearby enemies to blindly attack it, smacking and shooting each other in the process. In addition to this, it allows us to run by a large number of areas unimpeded. We have a discussion with Peach Wilkins about a camera and head out to find it. After a bit of running around, we get it and take a picture of the nearby spider splicer. The next two pictures can easily be found at the entrance to the tavern and the post office, completing our research. After that, we can head back to Peachy, making sure to pick up the convenient wrench lurker on the way. It's not necessary, but will save us a decent amount of health throughout the run. As we curse the sudden but inevitable betrayal from Wilkins, we have to kill him, or at least lure him into something be killed. This is a similar situation to Steinman, where it's possible to kill him via either enemies in the area. It's even easier now that we have Target Dummy. I can confidently say this wouldn't be a kill on a new playthrough, but for this video, it is one more kill. Next, we have a brief segue into Smuggler's Hideout, but it's basically a cutscene, with us running past a small group of splicers. Then, Arcadia, which is where things get a bit difficult. The first objective is just to get to the metro, which is easy. Follow the arrow, walk past a few enemies. Unfortunately, Mr. Ryan decides to shut it down, and we have to go talk to Julie Langford about the issue. All she asks for is a rose, but we're going to grab a few things on the way. After we head back to the main park, we're introduced to Houdini splicers. They drop chlorophyll solutions, a necessary quest item which we need 7 of. Luckily, we can find one in a cave just in front of us, and nearby there's another cave with another solution. We travel to the Rose Garden, picking up security evasion on the way, just to make our life a bit easier. After that, we return to Langford and head inside. Unfortunately, Andrew Ryan is not a fan of betrayal, so he murders her, and we go inside and grab the quest recipe as well as a flamethrower. From now, whenever we see a Houdini splicer, we want to get the surrounding enemies to help kill them. Big Daddies are best, but turrets can work well too. We need 5 more chlorophyll vials. One of these can be found in Langford's old office after we complete the quest, so we really only need 4 here. After a jaunt to the farmer's market, we can easily get the distilled water from the winery and the enzymes from the bees. Then we need to collect the last few vials and bring it to the central misting control. Then there is an unfortunate arena fight. There's a Big Daddy here, so mostly it consists of keeping the target dummy on top of him and allowing enemies to throw themselves at him. Make sure to break the health station here. It may take some time and a lot of Eve, but eventually the waves will end and we can progress. A little note here. I'm not sure how, but a Big Daddy became my friend and started following me after this encounter. He even came with me into the Bathysphere, though I guess he had other places to be, so he didn't join me in Fort Frolic. After a brief introduction to Sander Cohen, we have a small arena fight. Luckily, there are a number of electrical traps around, so we can force the first 5 or so into them. After that, we'll use a trick that will come up later, intentionally failing hacks to alert the security. These bots can then be used to attack the target dummy and kill melee enemies in the way. Spider slicers are a bit evasive, but eventually we can get the job done. Now we have to complete Sander's masterpiece. The first kill he does himself, and all we need is a photo. After that, there's the Iceman, We get ourselves frozen, then we want to lure him to the main area of Poseidon Plaza, where there's a Big Daddy waiting. Then we just need to have him attack the old diver, and he'll do the rest. Next we head to Rapture Records and find Cobb. Unfortunately he ambushes us, but luckily everyone in the ambush is on fire, and they'll burn themselves to death. No involvement needed. The same principles apply here. Find a Big Daddy and draw aggro, then take a picture of the remains. Cohen gets upset after we return this photo though, and we have to watch as a number of splicers all kill themselves. Failing hacking helps accelerate this process. After that misunderstanding, we have to go find Rodriguez. Unfortunately, once we do, he leads us on a merry little chase around the area. But once he calms down, we can again force him to fight a Big Daddy. He loses, and we get the final photo, allowing us to progress into Hephaestus. After wandering around for a little bit, we find ourselves stuck in a room with splicers, and little to work with. There are a few explosive barrels, but we have to be careful to save these for the end. It'll take some time, but after the last splicers die, we can move on. We now have a quest to make a bomb. The first few parts are easy. The nitroglycerin is in the office down the hall, and there are a dozen or so containers of ionic gel scattered around, of which we only really need 2. The last component, though, is a bit tougher. R34 wire clusters, which can only be found on the corpses of Big Daddies. Luckily, there are 2 already pre-dead, one at the entrance to the area, and the next just outside of the quest hub. The next 2, though, are going to require some assistance. There are some convenient locations, however. One is the 2 turrets right outside of the supervisor office, which deal good damage despite the armor. With 1 down, we just need 1 more. That's dependent on where they spawn, but find one, use alarm strats and miscellaneous enemies to slowly grind them down. Then we head to the heat control and use the bomb, with the gauntlet of enemies being no problem due to the target plasmid. After that, we head to Andrew Ryan's office, where there is 1 more kill. In the apartment block, we effectively run past every enemy and grab the 2 magic vials. Next, we have to become a Big Daddy. This is mostly a fetch quest, with no required kills or arenas. After collecting our boots, helmet, suit, voice changer, and smells, we're able to collect the little sister and forge ahead. Unfortunately, there are a few corpses on the way to our objective. At each, the little sister will start stabbing, and we have to defend her. This involves spamming target dummy, triggering alarms, and hoping. This section is slow and drains resources rapidly, so be careful with Eve management. After that, we're finally able to confront Fontaine, or Adam. After a few grenades, shotgun blasts, or whatever, he falls, and you drain the energy from him. I had the other enemies in the area finish off the last life, and you could say it's really the little sisters who get the last kill, so I'd say this one doesn't count. This means our total count is 5. 2 early splicers, 2 early bosses, and Ryan. I think this could even be reduced to just the 2 required at the start and Ryan. That would make the total just 3. So that's how many kills are required to beat Bioshock. Please like, subscribe, comment, and check out my Patreon. Thank you.